contrary to what people think, we don't always, always bash on the high points. So a new high point carbine has been released. It's the Model 3095. So some of you have already figured out their, the high point code on their naming convention for firearms. So you might have already figured out what this is. But it's breaking new ground by introducing the first ever carbine chambered for the 30 Super Carry defensive cartridge.
To be honest, I've never heard of that cartridge, but
yeah, the cartridge itself has only been around for a couple years. But the High Point 995, and we'll talk about the cartridge in a minute because you're probably not alone. There's probably a lot of people who haven't heard of that. The 995, it's interesting. The press release said 995, but the 3095, it's the same rifle. It's just different chamberings. Is the first rifle to accommodate the 30 Super Carry cartridge. It's 16.5-inch barrel, semi-auto action, 10-shot capacity in the magazine, skeletonized polymer stock, pistol grip. Show another picture here. Get a little bit better view of it there. Front post sight, rear peep sights, fully adjustable for windage and elevation. Picatinny rail atop the receiver and a rail below the handguard allows the shooter to accommodate their preferred optics or accessories, lights, lasers, whatever. 1/2 by 28 threaded barrel, manual safety. MSRP is $359. Usually the street price is right around $300 for these things.
That's a high price, high point.
Well, actually, that's the normal price for the carbines. Actually, we tend to maybe be a little harsh on high point sometimes. Keep in mind, we appreciate them for what they are. The carbines, though, they're actually really nice. They're fun rifles. So I like their rifles. But anyway, the 30 Super cartridge itself is loaded with a .312-inch projectile, so it's smaller than the popular 9mm, and it's and 380 ACP. And because of that reduced size, it's a little bit smaller around. You can put more rounds in a magazine. Now, usually with like a 10 round straight stick magazine, like what the high point carbines have, they could probably get 11 rounds in it, but I'm sure they've tweaked that a little bit because honestly, the 10 round magazine limit on the carbines is by design. So I'm sure they probably modified the magazine a little bit to make sure that it stayed at 10. Double stack magazines built to accommodate the 9mm Luger size cartridge usually can carry 2 more rounds of 30 Super Carry in the same space, giving more rounds without needing more space. Single stack magazines would gain an extra round. Despite the size reduction, this 30 Super Carry, now keep in mind, there again, ammo naming conventions are always confusing because there's been a 30 Super around for quite a while. But this is a 30 Super Carry, so make sure if you have a firearm chambered for that, you're buying the right stuff. But it features a 100-grain projectile with a muzzle velocity of 1,250 feet per second, produces 347 foot-pounds of energy at the muzzle.
Is it kind of a snub-nosed? Is that round a snub-nosed like a 9mm, or is it conical like a 223?
It depends on it. It depends.
It can change out.
It can have both. So I think basically it's a little bit smaller than a 9mm, so that it's not as big a round, so they can put more in the magazine. The velocity is higher than a 9mm.
Okay.
So your actual energy is about the same. So it's a smaller, higher speed version of 9mm, and it's intended to be able to offer a little bit more capacity in 9mm size.
So speaking of capacity, our friend Beating NCP 93 has a question, or actually has a comment. He does not like the single stack 10 round mags. You got anything to say about that?
I agree with you.
We were just talking about that.
We were just talking about that. I like the High Point carbine. I know that they made the 10 round magazine by design. It was on purpose. They did that so that the assault weapon ban and things like that it wouldn't get caught up in that, because usually those have a
the owner read the writing on the wall type of thing.
The owner, the designer, Tom Deeb at the time, he purposely designed it that way. The reality is it didn't matter, because now on any of these assault weapon ban bills that they put through, they usually list a bunch of stuff, and then they list a whole bunch of firearms by name.
And
the High Point is usually almost always on there now by name. So the whole reason that they did that is kind of moot now.
Yep.
So it's in the world of the anti-gunners, it's just another scary black rifle.
That's right.
So, but anyway, I just thought I'd put that out there. I think this is neat. Now here comes the flip side of that. 30 super carry ammo. It's like hen's teeth. You just can't find it anywhere. So
It's funny you say that.
I'm sure it's out there in places. I mean, but it's hard to get. So I hope you've enjoyed this clip from the Craig's Gun Channel Random Shots program. The program airs Thursdays at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. On Random Shots, we discuss content from ranging anything from preparedness, survival, politics, firearms, basically anything that's 2A related, with sometimes some rabbit trails on things that aren't related at all. If you enjoy this type of programming, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you're notified when we release new content. And if you like it, hit the like button and share us if you would as well. It helps the algorithm and helps the channel grow and helps get our message out. So I guess until next time, stay safe.